Be welcome to this new documentary, where we will explain the implications of the Russian-Ukrainian war on the exploration of the planet Mars. I'm Engineer Hiddekel Morrison, and thank you for choosing to watch this educational content. With revealing details of the damage that the world's largest plane suffered at the start of the war and important data regarding the main space projects, and how they can be harmed by war. From an engineer's perspective. Let's start. This explorer robot called Exobiology on Mars, better known as ExoMars or more recently called Rosalind Franklin, was planned to be the next robot to reach the Martian surface, but the war between Russia and Ukraine has just cancelled the arrival of this important mission to the Red Planet. ExoMars is an astrobiology space mission to Mars to search for life on that planet. It is made up of two different stages and is a joint project of the European Space Agency and Roscosmos, its Russian counterpart. The objectives of the ExoMars robot are very similar to those of the current mission of the United States rover Perseverance robot on the planet Mars. The ExoMars mission also aims to search for clues to life both in the past and today, investigate how water and the Martian geochemical environment vary over time, study the composition of trace gases in the atmosphere as well as their sources of origin, while testing the technology to make a hypothetical mission that would bring samples back from Mars viable. Russia has been dreaming of Mars for many years. The Red Planet remains a target in the Russian space race. The same goes for the Moon. However, in the midst of Russia's attack on Ukraine, the scenario changes completely, which was already having some difficulties due to the competition with the United States. In the aftermath of the war, US President Joe Biden did not hesitate to say that he will crush the space race in Russia. Let's look at the implications of war on space exploration. But first, I ask you to support us by liking this video, sharing this video with your contacts, and subscribing to this channel, turning on notifications, so with your support, we can continue to frequently generate interesting documentaries on aerospace technology and the universe. Thank you for contributing to the creation of educational content. In war, truth is the first casualty. Aeschylus, Greek playwright. The European Space Agency and the Russian Space Agency Roscosmos were scheduled to send their joint ExoMars mission on September 20, 2022, which would carry this newly named Rosalind Franklin rover, which was scheduled to land on Mars on June 10, 2023. Given the war situation, all this planning is cancelled according to what was reported on March 2, 2022 by the European Space Agency in this statement. Since the ExoMars mission is led by the European agency and with the participation of the Russian Space Agency. Roscosmos is the largest mission that Europe has developed to go to Mars. It is also the most ambitious mission to explore the solar system in the history of the European agency. It has a budget of about 1,500 million euros. It is a double mission, made up of the TGO satellite that was placed in orbit around Mars in 2016 and the Rosalind Franklin all-terrain robot, the first that Europe sends to the Red Planet, a shipment that could not be made in 2020 as planned due to a technical problem with the descent parachutes that could not be resolved in time. Since Mars and Earth approach a minimum distance once every 2 years, the launch had to be delayed to the next launch window. Following the invasion of Ukraine, we fully apply the sanctions imposed on Russia by our member states, the European agency stated in this statement. The sanctions and the general context make a launch in 2022 very unlikely, which will force the ExoMars liftoff to be delayed until at least the fall of 2024. The agency explained that, after a meeting of officials from its 22 member states, it is evaluating the consequences of the sanctions in its cooperation with the Russian Space Agency, Roscosmos. Sanctions and the broader context make a 2022 launch highly unlikely for the Europe-Russia ExoMars rover mission, the agency said. The launch had already been postponed previously in 2020 due to the health situation that impacted the world and technical problems, and the new launch date was scheduled for next September. The mission was to take off from the Baikonur spaceport in Kazakhstan using a Russian Proton rocket. Postponing a launch often means waiting months or years for another window to open when the planets are in the right alignment. Previously, the Russian agency Roscosmos reported that it would withdraw its personnel from the European spaceport in Kourou, French Guiana. Several European satellites have been launched from there with Russian rockets, with more scheduled for next year. French President Emmanuel Macron said earlier this month that Europe needs a bolder space policy, arguing that its sovereignty is at stake if it falls behind rival powers in a key field for technology, science and competitiveness. Military. While Europe has its own rockets to launch satellites into orbit, it relies on Russian and American partners to send astronauts into space. The Russia-Ukraine war definitely has a significant impact on all cooperation programs between space agencies. You can see the video we made about the impact on the International Space Station and the impact on the launches of companies and private initiatives carried out from Russian territory. Additionally, it is timely to highlight the impact on the Ukrainian space sector itself, which is definitely highly affected. With some damage that began with the mythical Antonov An-225 Mriya plane, the largest in the world, built in the 1980s to transport the Buran program launchers. There are still no precise and completely reliable details of the degree of destruction suffered by the only extant specimen. All the preliminary information available establishes that it was significantly damaged during the first days of the invasion when the Russian forces tried to use as a base the aerodrome where it was located, near the town of Hostomel in Ukraine. I will be attentive to your opinions in the comments of this video. I read them. As usual, we appreciate you informing us. It is a real pleasure to be able to provide you with the main news, trends and developments about the most important aspects of aerospace technology and the universe, from the perspective of an engineer. I am the engineer Hiddekel Morrison and I invite you to meet again in a future installment.